If you're struggling with nail art and can't or don't want to use gels, this one's going to be for you. What's up, nail crew? It's Nicole, your fellow nail obsessed DIYer. Today I'm going to show you how to size your decals correctly and how to use them with just dip liquids. Absolutely no gels needed for this one. We're going to start off by doing our dip mani as the base. And any time that I wear decals, if I don't want to paint the back to really make the color pop, I like to do them over a white background. So that's gonna be, if you're using a decal that's clear, you definitely wanna do it over a bright white decal for the best pop of all the colors. Sometimes I forget about this and I will try to put a decal over a nail that's a color and the decal has a clear backing, and then I'm like, crap, you can't see the decal at all. So I'll take some stamping polish, some white stamping polish, and color in behind it. But this one that I'm using actually has the white backing already, and I really just wanted to do the white underneath it just to be absolutely sure. So if you're using a water slide decal, people call them both of those. If you're using one of those that has a white backing, then it's going to pop over pretty much any color. Now it's just like out of habit for me to use white as the base. Sorry if I sound funny while I'm recording this. I sound a little bit different than I normally do. I don't know, maybe I don't to other people. I feel like I sound really raspy because I'm sick right now, but I still wanted to get my video done for everybody. I was super excited about this mani. It's so fun and summery. And this is so great to have other ways to do nail art type designs when you don't have drawing skills. Okay, I'm the first to admit I have little to none when it comes to any drawing skills, especially like on a tiny canvas like my nails. I mean, I can mess up a lot of things, so I rarely try to do hand-drawn nail art. When you're dipping with shimmers and solids, the best way I found to apply them is to pour the powder over. When you dip your nail into the powder, it often gets lumpy and bumpy, which means you're going to have to do more buffing, filing, and shaping. And we're trying to do our nails as efficiently as possible, okay? A lot of us, are doing our nails at night, after work, after kids and spouses and partners and animals go to bed. So we want to make our dip nails as easy as possible. When you're doing glitters, flakes, and foils, you're gonna want to pour the glitter, flakes, or foils into either a dip cup or a cupcake liner. I like to use these dip cups from SJ3. When I was using the disposable cupcake liners, I knocked those things over all the time, just by like moving my hands. So it's nicer to have something sturdy that you're not going to knock over quite as easily. Sometimes I still drop the powder just because I'm really messy, but nothing can really help that. That's just how I am. Whenever I use a glitter, flake, or foil, I like to put a piece of washi or masking tape on typically my pointer or middle finger on the other hand. This way I can press down the glitters, flakes, and foils without having to get anything on my skin. A lot of people do not do this. They just press down the glitters with their hand, and personally, I don't like that because the more that you get any kind of nail products on your skin, including dip base, dip powders, can make your skin itchy, give you contact dermatitis, and potentially an allergy. Although it's much less likely you get skin allergies from dip liquids than you do gel allergies, I'm still not trying to mess with my skin. Nail products are meant for your nails. They're not meant to be on your skin. So anyways, that's why I never try to get anything on my skin. I try really hard to keep it off. Now we're going to talk about working with chunky glitters. And when you're working with chunky glitters, on the first dip, I like to just get like the main base of the dip powder down onto my nails. I always pour them into a dip cup or a cupcake liner. And then on the first dip, I just try to get, like I said, that main base of the dip on my nails. And then it's the second dip where I really try to pick up a lot of the chunky glitters. Chunky glitters are just that. They're chunky, they're thick. So if you get a ton of the chunky glitter pieces on every layer, your nails are going to end up really thick, which we definitely don't want. We want to do a higher number of thin layers than a lower number of thick layers. And since I have builder gel down on my natural nails, I only need to do 2 dips of the color, and then I finish with 1 dip of clear as the last layer. Anytime I'm using dip liquid, so it doesn't matter what kind of dip powder I'm using, I finish with clear. It just helps to seal the color in or the glitter in, the flakes, the foils, the shimmers, and protect it when you're filing, buffing, and shaping. There is definitely a huge difference in quality among clears. So if you're using a clear dip powder that's kind of on the crappier, cloudy side, make sure you brush off a ton, like really with a stiff nail brush, brush that off. And now we're gonna jump into the decal. I'm gonna show you how to use this really cool decal sizer from SJ3 Designs. I am gonna be the first to admit that I am not that great at applying decals, which is why you don't see me do a lot of it on my channel, because I've struggled with it in the past, mostly because, and you'll see when I go to apply it, mostly because it's like my eyes don't wanna see where the decal should go, even though I had sized this up so nicely. I do the same thing with stamping. I put the stamp in the wrong place, but that's why you don't see me use decals a lot. What we're gonna do with this decal sizer, and this is what I absolutely loved. So normally I just eyeball how big the decal needs to be. Well, with this sizer, every single side is a different size. So you go and take that around your nails, you set it on top, and when your nails have a C curve to them, it's gonna be a little bit harder. So you're gonna wanna go with one that's a little bit bigger than your nail is. This way, when it curves down on the sides of your nails, it's going to fit. So I picked the one that looked like it was just a little bit bigger than my natural nails width-wise. And then when I cut it out, I used a pen to trace along the sides, and then I used some little nail scissors. These decals are all from Coco Designs. I'm a big fan of her decals because they are nice and sturdy. So for someone like me who's a bit rougher on their decals, having some sturdy ones is a really nice option. Something else that I decided that I wanted to do was I was going to try to size it as best I can. So I grabbed my pen again. And if you see, this pen is a Wednesday pen. It's so fun. I got this one from JN Designs. She makes these really cute little pens. Anyways, I did little marks on the back of the decal to show where I could do some more cutting since my nails are an almond shape. So that's just less work then that I have to file off for the sides of the decal. And when you're applying a water slide decal, you want to dunk it into the water for 15 seconds, and then you'll start to do what I'm doing. So I always use 15 seconds as like the baseline for how long my decal needs to be in the water. And then I take it out and I just try to slide the backing off, and I keep trying to do that. And I only will, like, if it doesn't come off, I put it back into the water for another like maybe 3 to 4 seconds, 5 at the most. Then once it's ready to easily slide off, I set it on a lint-free paper towel or a lint-free wipe to get the majority of the water off, and then I set it on a clear jelly stamper. That's going to really help you apply it to the right spot. So something that I would highly recommend doing that I did not do was I wasn't thinking, and I grabbed a really small stamper. It works so much better when you use a big stamper because you can see more where you're placing it on your nail, and you'll notice as I'm pushing it down with this silicone tool to get all the wrinkles out that it's a little bit too far to the right. So I had it sized so nicely and then I set it down on my nail a little bit too far to the right so that there's a little bit of the white sticking out on the left side and then a little bit of the decal that I'm gonna have to very carefully get off the sides of my cuticles. So since we're doing it with all dip liquids, I did not do my clear dip powder over my white nail yet, over the ring finger, because we're gonna do that after the decal is applied and basically act as if the decal isn't there to finish our mani. So I use Sticky Base, Maniology Sticky Base, and you wanna wait till it's tacky to apply the decal down. If it's wet, it doesn't stick quite as nicely, and you really wanna make sure with that Sticky Base, you get it all over your nail. So it needs to be over your entire nail plus the edges of your nail, like you're capping it. This way it can stick down there, and when you go to file off the excess decal on the sides, it's not going to peel right off because you have a little bit of it stuck to the sides of your nail as well. So if you can use acetone, which I'm actually allergic to, you would take some acetone on an angled nail brush and go around and like smush the sides down very gently, and the acetone will melt the decal into the sides of your nails. Well, I am allergic. I can't use it anymore. So I had to come up with an alternative way, and I found that using a glass cuticle pusher to basically like cut the decal off on the sides worked really, really well, especially because I'm gonna go in and I do some hand filing here to make sure that my sides are nice and clean, and then I'll top with clear dip powder, activate, do all the filing, buffing, and shaping, and you'll see what I'm doing, I leave in a bit of my filing, buffing, and shaping so you guys can see how I also use an e-file to get really nice cuticle lines. And when I'm doing a decal like this, to me, it's especially important. So once your decal is totally dry, you've really pressed it down so that all the wrinkles are out. You do have to work pretty fast when you're not using gels to apply decals because the decal sets a lot faster, obviously, than if you're using a gel. And then when you do the clear dip powder over top of it, you want to keep pouring the powder over till the tip powder is totally soaked up into the liquid. Then you can go through and activate like you normally do, wait till that hardens, and buff and shape and file. I wanted to show you all a little bit of the buffing and shaping so you can see how I don't need to do a lot. When you use really nice liquids, apply the dip liquids thinly and then pour over the powders or lay your nail flat for the glitters. As long as you're doing your application like that and really focusing on it, then you don't have to do as much buffing, shaping, and filing. I like to use this flat pan a bit in extra fine to go around my cuticle area just to really make it look nice and crisp. And you saw applying the clear dip powder over that decal, I could easily do the buffing, shaping, and filing like I normally would as if I didn't even use it. So that's the nice thing about working with decals with dip liquids only, that you can still finish your steps like you normally would. Now we get to my favorite part of the mani, doing the top coating. Once you're finished with all your filing, buffing, and shaping, you want to make sure that you spray your nails with isopropyl alcohol and wipe them off either with a lint-free wipe, a paper towel, or if you really have a ton of filings all over your hands and nails, you can use a stiff nail brush too to brush that off. Whatever liquids you're using, make sure you follow their top coating, okay? I've had a lot of people say like, oh, these liquids wouldn't work or these liquids wouldn't work. Yes, some liquids are 100% harder to work with than others. They contaminate easily. But if you're not following the instructions, especially the top coating instructions for whatever liquids that you're using, you're going to have problems. You're not going to get the shiniest possible top coat. So since every dip liquid's timing is a little bit different, yeah, there might be some liquids that it's similar, but make sure you follow whatever the dip liquids are, you follow their instructions. Now, if you're not ready to do any decals yet and you still need help with perfecting your dip application, check out this next video. Thanks for joining me today, Nail Crew.